Good morning. Missed my live on Tuesday, but I'm literally just going to analyze my charts on YouTube. So, literally got everything streaming now. So TikTok guys, if you want to see the full charts, you can head over to YouTube now. It's just Doey Trades. We're going to go through the things that I trade. So that's gold, silver, GBP USD, and Euro USD, and also NQ as well. We may potentially look at US 30 and some JPY pairs because I'm quite interested in trading JPY pairs, but I'm actually currently looking at Euro USD. I'm already in a sell for Euro USD, but I'm thinking of adding to a position. I'm really proud of myself actually, because I am actually putting the whole swing trading thing into practice, because last year I said I really wanted to swing trade, and I definitely did not what's the word? In other words, I failed at that goal. So this year we're going to go again with the swing trading. So you guys can follow me on my journey in learning how to swing trade. So, okay, Euro USD. I'm looking at this still being bearish. I've also been doing a little bit more research, more into like the fundamental side of things, so that I can actually feel more confident about staying in my trades when I'm swing trading. But I've been in this trade for the last all of yesterday. Oh, okay, this is my second day in this trade now. So usually I will only hold positions for like day at the absolute max. I don't usually hold my position, so this is a really big win for me. Like, I'm really happy, and also adding to a winning position isn't something that I usually do. I usually literally just trail my stop loss, but actually I'm now starting to think, okay, with these swing trades, when I do get these runners, I can make so much more money than the normal type of trading, but it is going to probably take a lot more patience, and it's probably going to test me a lot more as well. Okay, so we are getting a bit of rejection from this area, so I'm actually looking for that break of structure now on the 1 minute. We've got some consolidation, so we will wait to see if this area gets broken. That's what I want to see, a break of structure down here on the 1 minute, and I'll talk you through why I actually entered this trade in the first place, because I'm really happy with this trade. The first position though, I have been taken out in profit. That's so random. I don't know why TikTok hid someone's comment there. But let me know in the comments if I've got any traders. If you're a trader, what is it that you trade? If you want to see the full charts, obviously you can come over to YouTube now and have a look at what I'm actually looking at, because here on TikTok, you're just going to see my face. I still don't know how to stream the charts onto YouTube. Not YouTube, sorry, TikTok. So if you want to see what I'm doing, head over to YouTube. But we're looking at Euro USD now for a potential sell. I'm already in this sell position, so let me break this down for you guys, why I actually entered this position. Okay, so on the daily, we can see, so I entered this position around this area here, and you can see we got this really big bearish move, because on the daily we've broken this low, and yeah, you can clearly see really big push to the downside. And with Euro USD, there is an overall kind of bullish trend, but there's really big pullbacks within within the uptrend. So I definitely will happily capitalize on those bearish moves as well, because they can be pretty big. So yeah, so Euro USD daily, when I enter this position, I'm all the way down here. I can see that market structure is giving me bearish momentum. And then looking at the 4-hour, I marked up an area, basically a key level, because I also like to use the Fibonacci tool to help me with my pullbacks. So everyone always asks me, how do you know when a pullback is over? You don't really know when a pullback is over. I just personally mark up key areas where price could potentially start to reverse again. So I use the Fib tool here. And if we have a little look at this, okay, so this is where we were. I entered over here. This was the last high. This was the low down here. And as you can see, price literally came up to the 0.618 area. And for me, the kind of golden zone is between 0.618 and 0.7. So this is like kind of like where I like price to pull back into for me to take my positions. So I mark up the 0.6, take that away. I know we have some questions. Oh, hi, Skull. Options on CRT. I'm assuming that's crypto. I'm sure you've been here before, but I don't really trade crypto. So it's not really my specialty. Should I invest in silver? I personally think metals are a good thing to invest in, but I'm not a financial advisor. Keep CRT hidden. Okay, so I'm assuming that this is an interesting crypto or coin. Nazim, so I don't know if you're in my Discord, Nazim, but I did a message yesterday. We only you guys know, like, I'll always be super super transparent with you. Like, I'm not here to um to trick you guys or to not be honest, but Araya Capital opened on the 26th of December. So we haven't even been open a month yet. People have to go through the stages, and we pay out every 14 days. So we have some traders in the funded stage, we have traders nearly in the funded stage, but even once they get to the funded stage, they have to then be in profit for the they have to wait for the 14-day period for them to then get paid out. So we just haven't reached that yet. So as soon as we do, I can start posting all of that stuff. But it's one of them things that, as a new company, the second that we open, I'm not just gonna put out that we got payouts. We got to be open for long enough for people to even hit that. So yeah. Hopefully that answers your question, because I keep getting asked about that. Obviously, a company that's just opened and they're telling you that they've already got payouts, like, surely that should be quite suspicious, because how are people funded already and within that time space? But anyway, hopefully next month we'll actually have some people getting their payouts. I'm also starting a really exciting kind of competition. It's going to be called the 100K Club. So this is for any traders who are within the first 100K of payouts for a rare capital. I don't know if you guys have seen those, like, glass plaque things. They're like $100 or even more. I think the cheapest ones that you can get are like $90. Anyone who gets a payout within my first 100K will receive one of these for free. And I'm also going to come up with some more prizes and some more exclusive things for the 100K club. So help us get to 100K payouts, guys. Where are my traders at? Thank you so much for the follows on TikTok. Okay, let's go back to this, because I was literally showing you how I entered this trade. So we marked up here. there's 0.6 area on the fib for the 4 hours. So in my head, I'm looking for price to come back into this area to pull back into before then continuing down. So when price comes to this area, what I then want to see is lower time frame structure. Lower time frame structure to confirm that we are going to be continuing that bearish move. So you can see here I was marking up, okay, we were kind of consolidating for a while. I wanted it to break this low before I got that confirmation, even though we were kind of rejecting quite heavily. The way that I personally like to do this, first, I know some people jump straight down to like the 1 minute, the 5 minutes straight away, but I like the 15-minute as that added confirmation. So yes, I don't get like the top entries, but I get the entries that I feel confident about being in. So you can see here, no, Pixie said, I don't know how to. Pixie, are you on the live? Because I'm already, I can't even see that you're here. How do I do this? I've got someone who is gonna be going live with me. Oh, there we go. She's not on the live, but I've just invited her to come on the live with us. Can't really do any more than that. How do I share this, guys? You haven't shared it. I don't know how to. Someone, Pixie, who's meant to be jumping on the live with me, but she's not in the live. She's asking me to invite her, but I can't really invite her if she's not in the live, and I don't want to come off the stream. So yeah, I'm just gonna continue. Okay. Oh, there she is.
Hey mate, I was trying to come on with my screen so you can see my screen, but for some reason it was like none of your friends are on, and I was like, my friend is on.
That's so weird because it wasn't saying that you were on the stream. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you. To be fair though, I saw the other day there was 2 people on stream and they both had their charts up. So
that's what I was trying to do, co-host, but it kept on saying that you weren't on stream. So I got all my laptop ready and then it didn't work. So
that's so strange. Very, very strange. How are you though? How's your morning been?
Oh, my week has been like just really shitty in trading, if I'm being honest. Really shitty. Like I think it's been missing all of my trades, been missing all of my setups. So like this morning, silver had broken out, gold had broken out, and I obviously missed that move, which I was asleep, I couldn't help it. So then I actually got in, I waited for price to pull back, and then got in a buy. And then I was like, wait, is that a pullback or is that an extension? And I felt like I was just like starting again. I actually had no fucking clue. And I was like, shit. I was like, I need to go through some things because I don't know what it's been like this week.
I think we always have those weeks where we kind of take a few steps backwards, but I think you just got to kind of ground yourself again with your strategy, literally write it out word for word so you know exactly what it is that you're looking at, what you're waiting for, and just use. And this is where obviously when you will start to see, are you now entering based on emotion? Because if you're all confused and is not following exactly what you're waiting for, and again maybe the emotion of missing out all of the trades are messing with you, and you're getting FOMO and stuff, because this is one of the biggest skills. Oh god. One of the biggest skills in trading, and people don't realize how important this skill is because they think all of the other skills are more important about entering, but it's about actually that control of emotion when you miss out on trades, when I'm in a swing trade and this is the second day, it could technically go back to break even, and it's 2 days, and in a swing trade I could be in it for weeks and it be a loss. And this, that emotion that comes up for us, this is the stuff that people don't really focus on. They focus more on about the entry than all of the other little bits. And I think the entry is just like the very, very beginner stage. You have got the entry, you're letting the other emotions cloud that.
I think what it is, I've really like mastered the bounce.
Mhm.
But for some reason, since I've done that, I actually don't know how to take out breakout anymore.
So why?
Which is really crazy. It's like I feel like I've been so focused on the bounce that actually now I keep on entering these breakouts, I'm going wrong. So I'm like, what was I doing? What was I doing before? Do you know what I mean? Like, how was I even doing these breakouts? So like, I think that's what it is. Like today, like when it broke out of silver, obviously I missed it, but I was like, like it gotten to a certain point where I was like, okay, this could go obviously either or way. But I was like, because before, I think because I was so focused on the bigger time frame a few months ago, that the bigger time frame was like, okay, so it would break out, it would retest on the bigger time frame, then I get in. But because I'm looking at the smaller time frame, I'm like, okay, like now I'm like, okay, well, how much do I need it to like pull back, or like how much do I need it to like come back to the trend line and go down? I think because I've switched.
Do you not think
frames for the breakout? It's the breakout. Every bounce has been great. It's the breakout.
Yeah. Do you not think that just focusing on what is working for you right now? Yeah.
Because there's so many breakouts. I'm like,
But you said to me there's so many bounces. Like technically when you just remember, you don't need, like, I've literally traded once this whole week. I've traded so much less than what I was before in this new year. And I do feel a lot more calm. But I know there's going to be different emotions that come up for me when I get to that emotion of, like I said, being in this for a couple days, it ended up break even, or being in it a couple days and it being a loss. What I'm focusing on is when what I was saying to you yesterday, when we are in the winners, because I'm looking at adding another position to this winning position, and that's how I'm going to make it worth it, and you have to really go back to basics with your strategy, focus on what is working for you. And if you are so confident about your bounce off, why change anything else at this stage? Because if you're wanting to get to the point of payouts, making money consistently, there's no point actually adding other bits in or changing things until you're at that point. That's why, like, obviously I'm at a very, very different point where I have been making money in trading really now for the last couple, like consistently the last couple years. So I can afford now to refine and make my strategy better. Because I did what was working for me. And at the beginning, what I used to teach you guys, like literally support and resistance, breakout, retest. That's what I was doing. And I did that for fucking ages. And it's not really until from, I would say, maybe from like July last year that I started to actually look at changing the strategy, because my life started to change. I felt confident about making money within the market, but I wanted now to make more money. And also my life, like I said, was changing with Maya and with what I was doing. The 2 years prior, I was basically pregnant and then had like a newborn. And for me, the newborn stage was actually much easier because they just lie there. They didn't do anything. And you remember what Maya used to be like when we'd bring her out. She was so good. You just sit there and sleep and stuff, whereas that's not what she does now.
Yeah.
So I
No
couldn't
place.
focus, so I knew something had to kind of change. But at first you want to get that first step in where you're focusing on making money consistently, and if you found something that really works for you, then don't even worry, don't have that again, it's that emotion of that fear of missing out. Oh my god, it's such a good trade, it's a breakout trade, but you can still make the same money. You can still make the same money. Like, we see all of these different strategies, some people having amazing trades. Like, technically all the strategies are amazing and works, and but it doesn't mean that we need to be in every single one of them, because we can't
I think it's
physically.
because I've done breakout trades for the whole time that I've
Yeah.
done trading. Do you know what I
But
mean? And I
you've
think
always
that
struggled. You
now
struggled a
that
little
I'm
bit
like
with
thinking
that.
about it, so I go back on my trading journal every Sunday and I look at all the trades that I've taken. Like, I have had some amazing wins on breakouts.
Yeah.
Now you're speaking, I'm starting to understand maybe what it is. Like, you know how market environment always changes. So a trade is never going to look the exact same way, is it? And I think that's what I'm doing. I'm going back on my journal and I'm looking, because obviously I screenshot I'm looking at that and I'm trying to replicate the same way that I done the trade.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? But obviously every single time a setup happens, it does not look the same way.
No.
And I think that's now, because I had such a great 2 weeks. Well, yeah, I had a great 1 week and then like kind of a great other week. But I was copying all the trades that I was kind of doing on my screenshots. And now I'm thinking, like, I'm trying to completely replicate exactly those setups. And it's not happening because it doesn't happen like that, does it?
No, exactly. And I think, every time you kind of like take that step backwards, it's because you now are doing you're doing something that is different to what was working. You don't, and I think this is I think people just don't give themselves long enough in the same thing, because it's human nature to want to try different things. And again, like what you were saying, you have taken really good breakout trades. I like breakout trades, but if you always had a very up and down relationship the last year with that type of trading, it hasn't been until you started doing this strategy with yourself, with using the bounce off, that I've seen you that confident. So why change that at this point if that is what is working? Because you can get bounce off on the lower time frame, you can get bounce off on the higher time frame. It's just that seeing others or other trades or previous trades, it's that old pattern. Remember, like, everything about the old pattern will do what it can to keep you there. So when you start doing good, it will just want to pull you back. So you have to like wake up and be aware about that before you fully go back and go back to zero. Okay, right, this week I can reevaluate. It keeps going wrong when I keep trying to take these breakout trades. So let's just I'm literally sat here saying I'm super confident about this. Why change it just because you can see something else?
I don't know, because even the trade that I made, like not last week, but the week before that, where I made $1,000, that was a breakout. Like, I'm literally looking at my trading journal right now, and I'm like, most of the ones that I've taken and that I've won have actually been breakouts. Like, so then why am I getting so confused? And I think you're so right. It's these old habits and these old patterns of, okay, I felt overwhelmed. So I guess my brain is going, okay, what did I do last time?
Yeah.
And then it's like getting confused. Do you know what I mean? So
just go back to basics with literally having, if you want to have two setups, but literally write them out word for word and know exactly what you're looking for. But just understand, like breakouts, actually, to be fair, even with bounce offs, but I think bounce off can be a bit more protected with market structure, but you can get fake outs all the time. Like, there's going to be wins and there's going to be losses. There's going to be trades that you miss loads and whatever, but I think just keep reminding yourself when you start to go backwards that this is what that safety net is for you. every time you kind of go forwards, you end up coming backwards again. So keep focusing on what's working rather than what's changing. And if you're getting confused, just, you know, like I said about what we had that conversation the other day, when you start to feel like this, maybe it has to be a no trade day. Maybe this week where you've missed loads of trades, now you're all over the place, this has to be a no trade week until you like ground yourself again, get your head back in the game, get yourself feeling certain again. Because if you continue to try to trade when you're like feeling confused, it's just gonna get worse and worse, and then you're gonna end up doing an emotional trade. Then that will spiral. You'll feel disappointed, and it will be the whole cycle again. And you'll be like, I'm aware, I'll do better. I'm annoyed. Next time you do better, and then it's like this, and then you kind of go. But it's like the same. It's the same pattern. You know, we have to really, really see these patterns, and start to think, okay, like how do I disrupt that pattern? What am I called to do, which is probably to trade, and that's probably the thing that you shouldn't do. You know, in your head, it's like, I've missed so much this week, I need to now trade. And if you're realizing that those emotions or FOMO still trigger you like that, the biggest skill here that you can do is actually be able to sit out. Because now in your subconscious mind, in the back of your head, it's telling you you've missed out on loads of trades. We need to prove ourselves. We need to make up for all those trades missed. Whereas you know, this feeling, these emotions will pass, but not necessarily straight away if it's quite a big trigger, if it's quite, you know, like a survival thing for you. So I think being able to kind of just sit out and get clear again 100% on what you want to trade, what you want to do before anything else. And just
that's it, man. Actually getting clear. I think that's been, you know, and I think it's really helpful to just kind of speak to someone like you about this, because you hear it in your head and you're like, you go around in circles.
You get more and more confused.
You can do it, but you need someone to speak to actually like hear yourself and actually what the hell's going on. Like, why am I doing this? And you know what? It's those, I really do think it's those natural patterns of going around in the same circle. And I'm like, was doing, and I'm still doing well, but like obviously I haven't done this well ever. So it's obviously that trigger of like, fuck, I could lose it all, you know? And it's back to, but no, I know, like I've had like 2 minutes, 5 minutes talking to you. I know what I need to do now.
And this is the thing, like the thing that you didn't need to do is start to trade. Just ground yourself, whatever that is, having that conversation, getting it out of your head, understanding that you're not confused, because you understand the entry. Like I said, there's three main parts to trading. Everyone focuses on the entry. This is what everyone wants to talk about. You know, this is why no one's joining this live, because the fucking charts aren't up. Because that's what everyone wants to see. And that's only the first part. And actually, the majority of us already know that part. But it's the other. It's the emotional control and the risk management. You've got risk management locked, that you always have done. You know, that's not something you've you've never struggled with risk management, but only on the other end of it. So risk management isn't only about what you lose, it's about what you make.
And it's taking out early. It's fear.
Yeah,
you know?
So that is risk management as well. So again, you know, we all focus on entry when actually entry is fucking simple. Entry is actually really simple. You just need to not confuse yourself by swapping all the time. And you know,
it took me a while to not swap time frames in entry. Now I can
you understand how to enter. Like I don't there's no kind of like doubt in that confusion. But like I said, the other side of things now is the emotional management strategy, but also risk management, but not the risk management that people initially think about how much you lose, but it's about how much you make. So that's what I'm learning at the moment with the swing trading. Is a very different kind of concept to the day trading, because like I said, I'm going to have to learn a completely different emotional strategy, because I'm going to have to be, you know, in trades for days, before I get an answer. And that could be break even. I could see myself go, like, at one point, these two trades together was like 1,500, like in total profit. And, this is day 2. And, we're not that far off coming back to break even. I have to be okay with that, because the other side of this strategy is the risk management, but what you make. So when I do get these runners, instead of just having one trade that gives me that, what I'm going to do is start stacking, so I could make probably 10 times the amount. So
in
this
one
could,
trade.
okay. 10 times.
In one setup.
Yeah, in one technically set up, and then I'm just adding to the positions on through market structure and the pullbacks, and then literally bringing all of the trades into profit, into it, all into risk free. And then those winning trades, I could have like 10 positions, all winning positions, that will make up for the days that I've lost and the break even days. Technically it's all the same, I'm doing it just a lot less, and patience. And that's the one thing I didn't even have with day trading. So this is going to be a real big test for me.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much, Lee.
I think even when I remember in October, I done that swing trade, and I was in it for like 4 days, and it was only like £400. But like, I think like the desperation of needing money and wanting to trade, because me and you have very much been like that. It's like, oh well, I don't want to trade all the time because I like seeing the bigger picture, and then I'm like, yeah, but I need money now. So then it's like, okay, well then zoom into the smaller, and I think it's that confusion of, okay, well which one is it? For me, I think, like which one is it? But can you explain? I really liked how you spoke about emotional, like, how we all have to have a trading plan. Yeah. Can you speak to me about an emotional trading plan?
Really the emotional strategy, I call it the emotional management strategy. So you obviously got your key strategy, how you enter the trade. You've got your risk management strategy, but then again, the one that is the most important, but people don't ever want to hear about, is the emotional control strategy. So this first, you got to do a lot of reflection on what your triggers are. So for me, just, if I was just like mentoring you right now, like you've just told me what's happened, what I can see as a trigger for you is when you miss trades. So this is first understanding what the triggers are. So you can start to put into place, right, I get triggered, and this is where people got to be so honest and real with themselves, because people will be like, I do actually have a student who will tell me a situation, and then when I mentor them, they suddenly change it, and they're like, oh no, but I don't actually feel that. And I'm like, I already know that's a lie, because the first thing that you said, that naturally, without hearing what I had to say, is the truth. So you can't then go back on it, but humans like to, because once they hear that's painful. It's painful. So then they start to say, I'm not emotional about it, it doesn't bother me. You start to like try to defend it, but you've already said it now before even thinking, and that's the truth. So we know that is a trigger, because that's been said to me quite a few times this week. So I know if it wasn't a trigger, you wouldn't have even mentioned it. You wouldn't even know 100%. You wouldn't even know whether or not you might not feel that emotional about it. Something deep inside you feels emotional about it. Something is triggered by it. So you've got to first understand what your triggers are. So once you understand what your triggers are, you then start to make a plan to allow yourself to feel those emotions without trading. So whatever it is. So I'm just going to give you an example. Something that used to really, really trigger me was losses. I was a very, very bad loser. I didn't realize I had quite a big ego. So I started to realize actually taking a loss was a huge, huge trigger. So I started to put things in place like, right, originally it was one loss, and then I wouldn't be able to trade for the rest of the day, because you have to allow yourself to be triggered, feel the emotion, be angry, but not be in the charts, because that's when you're going to start spiraling, because now you're literally full on survival, you're triggered, whatever, and you don't give a shit anymore, basically. So then I started to be like, okay, it's not forever. It's not the way that I see myself, as a professional trader, not being able to manage one loss. But at this moment in my life, it's clearly triggering me. So I'm now at the stage of 2 losses, but that's again day trading. So it will be very different as a swing trader. But that's just like a little example of like, you have to understand what the trigger is and make sure you understand what you need to do, whether or not you literally are like, I have to just literally not even look at the charts. That's like a rule. I have to not look at the charts if you can't like stop yourself from trading, but you have to allow a little bit of time to actually get over this trigger, because again, people try to not be triggered at all. It's not possible at this moment in your life, so there's no point trying to pretend that it's not going to trigger you. Instead, you're going to have to just make sure you give yourself enough time to feel that, to come out of it, and then come back to it, because not trading is still better than taking a loss emotionally.
Yeah,
So I think that for me would always be my first place to start. Just get very, very honest with yourself with what is triggering you, and then everyone's going to be different. Like I said, like for me, I had to just make sure like I just couldn't trade for the rest of the day, so I did have to like shut my laptop. This is very intentional. So for example, like when you used to shut your laptop because you were so annoyed and angry, that's not intentional. That is just like being annoyed, throwing your toys out the pram, being angry. That's not intentional. Whereas intentionally being like, right now I'm in survival, I'm closing my laptop and not looking at it, because that is the intention. That is so different. That is so different. And it doesn't mean that has to be the way forever, because once you start to manage these emotions and start feeling those emotions, you can actually start like training your nervous system that you're safe. You start working on the mindset stuff instead. When you're feeling those emotions, you got to do all the exercises that actually make yourself feel safe. You feel that emotion. Okay, trading's making me feel like this, but then you do whatever exercise that works for you, that makes you feel safe in this moment. We're not we don't desperately need this right now. I'm not literally gonna die, like, and that's literally what the survival brain is thinking. Is that scared, but we don't even talk to ourselves, or again, what I was saying to you the other day, if you were doing this for someone else, a child, what do they need to hear? They need to feel their emotion. Once they're ready to listen, then you make them feel safe, then they come back out again. Eventually, over time, your nervous system will realize that this is no longer a trigger, because you're safe enough. You've felt the emotion that it gave you, you let it pass, and you've worked through it. That's why originally, I couldn't take more than one loss, but then eventually I could take more losses, but I don't really ever take more than 2 trades a day anyway. So, thank you so much for the gift, Jay. But yeah, I couldn't take like now losses don't really mean anything to me. So originally it did mean a lot to me, but then I did a lot of that work and making myself feel safe around the losses, that now eventually. So again, people get so wrapped up in like, but that's not the way that I want to trade like right now. Sometimes you just got to be real about where you are. If you, and again, when it comes to like that desperation of money, it things are going our way, but we got to practice patience even outside. So again, it's like that mirror effect. Okay, so we're on the right path. We've got something to focus on. We it's not like we haven't got like zero income at all. It's not like we're homeless and there is literally no opportunity. So actually, we don't need to be in that kind of survival mode of thinking we're in that much danger. So again, it's like really, when we're trading, feeling those things of I'm so desperate to get out. It's like we don't need to actually be desperate. We're on the right track. Outside of trading, we got to practice that patience, because I know it's going to take patience. A lot of business owners don't have that patience, and that's why they don't succeed. So again, it's just a mirror. And for me, I need to practice patience more than anything in my trading. So I'm trying to do that outside. And that's trusting the process. As long as I know that I've got a vehicle, we've both got vehicles, whether one of them is one that I don't really like, one of them is one that you don't really like, but the other one has a lot of potential and is a great vehicle. So we're there. We just need the patience to this is it.
Something that takes fucking you know what, pick your why, understand your why, understand I think the big one.
Oh god, TikTok has kicked me off. I've got this app that basically kicks me off my social apps from 10 a.m. Oh dear.
She needs to discipline herself outside. No, not discipline. Doey needs to be more patient in trading, so she's trying to be patient outside of trading. And that was the same with me as discipline. Start becoming disciplined in your outside world, and it will reflect back on your trading. But then blow it. It's but yeah, I was back to what you were saying, Doey, is there's obviously the book, which is The Disciplined Trader. Every time I put my headphones in, they stop working, and then they're tweeting, fighting. I can see them, they're just aggressively fighting each other.
Oh my god.
And he says, meet yourself where you're at. Because I think this is why some self-development can be really damaging, because it's like just fucking wish for what you want, like wish for what you want, like it's like just positive thinking, but it's just not.
No, that's only one small aspect of it.
Exactly.
You need to know where you're going. Yes, I do believe that, but actually you need to know exactly where you're at right now, because where for example, we both want to go in to the same place. Our goals, we want to go to the same place, but right now actually we're starting at different places. Like I said, with my strategy and my trading, I've been trading a lot longer, so that means that my strategy and my actions can be quite different to your actions. So it's like I said, it's about understanding exactly where you're at and not being shamed about that or disappointed. That's not the point. It's actually more awareness to understand, okay, so what do I need right now? Like I said, with the trigger, what do I need to do right now? And if that is, if I struggle to stay out of trade, if I keep looking at the charts, then it means not looking at the charts until I have kind of, really just, and you can feel when you're grounded and when you're not grounded, because if you're coming back and you're feeling all confused and stuff like that, your head's not in the right place, because you already know how to trade. You already know your setup. So if you're coming back feeling all confused, that emotion of whatever was triggered, of missing all those trades, and okay, I really want to make money, and that's clouding your decision, and that's making you confused. And now you're looking at the charts all confused. That it's not time. It's not time. So whatever it is, and for me, the quickest way to get myself back in is literally being able to step away, not trade, like I said, for the rest of the day, do whatever it is that I need to do, maybe rewrite out my rules so I understand that completely, meditate, do some me time, whatever it is, for then the next day. And I haven't even checked the charts once. Whilst you're in this mode, don't check the charts once. If that is something that works for you, which is something that worked for me, you know, because I needed that. If I looked at the charts, I wanted to enter. I wasn't thinking about how to ground myself. I was just thinking about the setups or what I could see. I wasn't focusing on that inner work. I was just focusing back again on the charts. So I just needed that time to focus on me, ground myself, and get out of that emotional state before I could come back to trading. So
yeah, I feel like a lot of what's actually come to me, funny enough, is what the difference between when I was on the ball and I was back testing every day. Stop back testing. I just realized.
And this is what I mean. Like, you just got to sit there and really think what works for you, you know.
Yeah,
what
back
is
testing works for me. It helps me just see it clearer. So
exactly.
I'm
So then
every day.
exactly, because a lot of the time I think you start spiraling when you get confused. So the back testing really helped you because it just reminded you that you know how to do it without the emotion. So that this is what you need. You need to be, if you look at the charts, emotion is still there. But if you know you're back testing, you know you're just clarifying it, you're just reminding yourself. It's a completely different story, you know. So you need to, whatever it is that time out is, whether it's back testing or not back testing or getting off the charts, whatever it is, do that, but without the emotional side of actually being in the charts and whatever, you know. And I think that is a really, really important strategy. And like I said, you know, it's going to be different for everybody else. Mine is
100%.
Literally to switch off, which is something that I could never do at the beginning. Like, you could never do it. I would just be staring at the charts all the time, and Ben would be like, "Oh, are you trading?" I'm like, "No, just staring." You know, it's not helping. I'm just sat there thinking, "Well, I would have entered there, and I wouldn't enter that." Like, do you know what I mean? Just getting even more worked up. So then when I come back the next day, I'm like now feeling so much FOMO because I'm like all just sat there thinking I could have entered, like, you know, not actually feeling the emotion, getting into that trigger, teaching myself that we're safe, and then coming out the other end, I'm there just getting, you know, triggered, then going back onto the charts, then getting annoyed, and then coming back the next day with revenge in my brain, you know, like, without realizing it. And this is where the whole revenge trading comes in. And that's a massive thing to do with ego, you know, like, I never realized that played such a big part for me, but it was huge. So I one of the things that I did outside of trading that helped me with my ego is start to have very, very uncomfortable conversations. The reason why I never liked to have uncomfortable conversations was because of my ego. So I had like an old friend. We never cleared things up. And even with my old best friend, never really cleared things up. And I was always like, well, if they don't care, I don't care. The truth is, I gave a shit because I don't just become friends with anyone. If I have you as a friend, you mean a lot to me. So me lying and saying, "Oh, I'm just not going to speak to them ever again if they don't," that's just a big fat lie. That's just my ego telling me, you know, whatever. So what I did was I actually started to, all of last year, I messaged them all and I told them exactly how I felt. You know, and you've been there with me with Ben and all those uncomfortable conversations. I tried so hard. That is me letting go of my ego outside of trading, you know, and doing things that are so uncomfortable, apologizing as well, you know, apologizing. This is not because I didn't really want to apologize because I saw what they did wrong. Hey, Mega Trade. I didn't want to apologize to them because I was like, well, they've done stuff wrong too. But then I looked at my actions and I was like, but I did as well, you know. And someone has, I don't really, at the end of the day, like, it doesn't matter if they're sorry or if they're not sorry. It's more to do with having that peace of mind for myself, taking responsibility for my actions, dropping that ego. And actually it just then led the way for them to do the same. So then I felt even better for it.
It's really strange. This is going to change subject, but it reminded me. I had a nightmare about you last night, and it's funny because I'd done someone that I knew. I do her lashes. She's friends with my old friends. Mm-hmm. He was just telling me all sorts of crazy stuff, you know. Anyway, it just reminded me a lot about how, like, every single friend that I've had has absolutely just fucking done me dirty.
Yeah.
Like, every single friend. And I had a dream last night that it was my birthday, and we were at Coconut Bar, I think, or something, or the other place that we like. I can't remember what it was called. And you saw your other friends, and you just got up and left. You're like, I'm sorry, but they're just there, so I'm going. I was there, like, but it was funny because I was like, you came back to drop off something to me. It was an ingredient list, but it wasn't vegan. I don't know, it was really weird, but it was
So
funny
funny.
because the moral was that I was able to tell you, hey, like, that's not okay.
Yeah.
And it's funny because the reason I was dreaming about it is because I never actually said to my old friends, that's not okay.
Yeah.
Like, how you treated me was not okay. So it's really funny what you just said. But that was my dream last night.
That is so funny. Must have woken up like, what on earth? But yeah, like, you know, you start, like I said, mirroring what you need to do outside. And God, yeah, I've had to really let go of my ego. That's why, like, for me, like, I'll never argue with people whose strategy is right, whose strategy is wrong. Because I know anyone who's arguing all of that, their ego is big, and anyone who is an actual good trader doesn't have a big ego. So
and also doesn't care what other people are doing.
Yeah.
Do you know what?
They just don't give a shit. Like, anyone who are, I mean, we've got some good people in the comments, but I did see further up, like, people literally just, you know, being like, you don't know what you're you don't, like, it's funny. I just feel bad. I just feel bad for them because like, I know any real profitable trader, or even anyone with true success, it's just it wouldn't even cross their mind to
stay in their own lane.
Yeah,
and that's something I done a post on TikTok, and that it's doing really well. Go and have a look at the bloody comments, mate. Honestly, people are like, you shouldn't be doing that. Someone told me I shouldn't be trading while I'm on holiday, and I'm like, but my goal is to travel and to be anywhere and be able to trade. So it's just really funny. You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do this. You shouldn't do that. And I'm thinking, I do not go into anyone's comment sections on anything and tell them that they shouldn't be doing it, or their trading is wrong, or their analyzing is wrong.
I actually
live our lives is different.
It's so funny. I've got to go in a second, but oh my God, I was literally crying my eyes out this morning. I actually haven't cried in a long time, because I was listening to a podcast, Stephen Bartlett and Tony Robbins, the newest one. Listen to it when you get a chance. But the reason why I was crying was because actually Tony Robbins and his mentor, those two men, honestly, they changed my life. Like, they probably saved me from, both of them, from very suicidal parts of my life. And I hadn't heard Tony speak for a long time, and he was saying things that his mentor Jim Rohn was saying, and Jim Rohn was the first person that changed my life for the better. And it just reminded me of those times, and he repeated those sentences that he said, and I just remembered all of those things. Anyway, he was he was talking about why people are nasty to other people, especially on the internet. And so there's like 5 main human needs, obviously, like survival, like drinking water and all of that stuff. But one is love, one is to feel significant. I can't really remember what the other 2 are, but anyway, significance can actually be found through violence and talking down to other people. Because I'll give you the example. Okay, so being significant to someone, for example, you know, say if you don't know me, you just walk straight past me, I'm no significant to you. If I came up to you and put a fucking gun to your head, I'm the most significant person in your whole entire world in that moment. So violence actually gives people a feeling of significance, because you're scared of that person now. That, you know, like, you wouldn't have even noticed them before, but now you do. Now you notice them. Now you're
Yeah.
talking about them. Now you're fearing them. You know, it's the same with people who talk down to you, because it's just human nature. We like to, especially for men, because of testosterone. This is just a like a scientific thing. Testosterone is, the hormone of dominance and whatever. So when you talk down to someone and you feel above them, it makes you feel better and more significant. And significance is a human need, but people find these things in different ways. The two things that are really important to me is significance and uncertainty. Those are the other two: certainty and uncertainty. These are my two. I didn't realize, but my two things: significance and uncertainty. I don't like it when things are the same all the time, which is why I do like loads of random things. But significance, this is why I want to build a business. This is why I want to make a difference to people's lives, because these are two really big human needs that are at the top of my list. So yeah, it's a really, really interesting listen.
That's really interesting. No, it is. And we do think why people are so horrible, especially online.
Yeah.
And it does make so much sense. And
because when they make someone else feel shit, they feel better.
Them feel better, exactly. And when people don't have that emotional intelligence, then it's so much easier to look down on someone and make someone else feel like shit. Doey's been training for 8 years.
Sorry, mate. I'm gonna have to shoot because I've got this app on my phone that when it gets to 10, it kicks me off all of the social apps, so I don't scroll. But I'm going to my first Pilates session, and then I'll see you at the salon today anyway.
I said I've got a client at 11, and then I'll probably be done at like maybe 1-ish, and then I'll be over.
Okay, cool. I will see you later. Everyone have a really